Okay, we're in business. Yeah, we are on Daf 80. Halacha base, Daf Mem base. To Medimir Tzashem, see him next Wednesday. Nazir what? Fireworks. I'll see. Nazir Tamei B'Safek. Now this Nazir, he was both a Tamei B'Safek. That means Tamei as a Nazir, and he was Mukhlat B'Safek. It means it was Safek whether he was a definite Mitzorah or not. So one is going to ask, how is it a Safek if he's a definite Mitzorah? So now it's a oxymoron, right? How can he be a Safek definite Mitzorah, right? So the Gemara is going to have to explain that. So he's a Tamei. He's a question whether he's Tamei, Tumas Meis, as a Nazir, and a question whether he's a Mukhlat as a Mitzorah. So he was able to catch him 60 days later. Besides the item of Tamei, he can drink wine and become Tamei to dead bodies. 120 days later. The Gemara is going to make the cheshbon. And the reason for this is because the haircut from Taras takes precedence over the haircut of Nazirus. Bismanchi Vadai. That's only true, however, when it's a definite haircut for Taras. However, Bismanchi Safek, when it's a questionable haircut for Taras, Ein Adoicha does not push off the haircut of Nazirus, and all these things will be explained in the Gemara. Eizu Mukhla Misafek. What's it said to be a person who's a questionably definite Nazir? Where do we have such a thing? So says Mara, I'll tell you what questionable definite Mitzorah. So Eizim Mukhla Misavik Shnaim Shabo Etzlo, two people came to the Kohen. And he made one of them a Mukhlat. Right, one of them he made a Mukhlat, one of these two people. The Lori speak the Hashem wasn't able to examine or determine the second one was definitely Mitzorah until they got switched on him. Right, so he doesn't know which one. He wanted it to. He made a mukhla, but he doesn't know which one. Zel mukhla b'safek. That's a case of a guy who was a definite safek definite mitzorah. Okay, hadai detani. That's how you learned that. We learned it by so it says safek nazir tami, safek nazir tor. There's a question. You can have a case in our Mishnah. We have a case of a safek tami nazir, safek tami. The Nazir Tor, Safik whether he became Tamei or Safik whether he remained Tor. But the neft of the Nazir definitely was. Similarly, to the Tzoras aspect, Safik Mitzorah, Safik Tamei, Safik Mitzorah Tor. Question whether he's definitely was a Mitzorah who was Tamei or the Mitzorah was Tor. In other words, whether the Kohen was Machlit him, pronounced it definitely Mitzorah or not. Avo Mitzorah Vadai Hoya. Right? But definitely he had Tzaras, which was he was bringing to the Kohen to show. And it's just that it wasn't enough time to show the Kohen before, or rather, we're not sure which one was shown to the Kohen and declared to be Tamei. Okay? So far so good? Now, so far so good? Yeah. How we got to 120 days? What? How we got to 120 days? Oh, because we eat kachim 60 days hence. Which shows the eye they can drink wine, be metal mason achar kuf chaf yom after 120 days. That means his taras is over. That's a prevents you to catch him after 60 days, right? And it means his nazirus is over after 120 days. Okay?
Why not 60 plus 30?
You'll see. Okay, Ketzat. How so? Amrulo nazir tamei ato. But they say to him, well, the first thing you gotta be afraid of is that you're nazir tamei, right? So Tzayim Shiva, so go and count 7 days. Vazeh, and go and sprinkle blood of sprinkle paraduma waters upon yourself. The 7th day, the third day, Vishanei, and the 7th day. I need a piece of paper to do this. I need to make a chart, although it's going to get very confusing. It's expendable?
Yeah, take this. It's just the marker.
What?
It's just the marker. I need a napkin for bookmark.
Gather round. Oh, look what I did to my pen. What?
Usually one of these kids' ballads starts off.
You didn't use
gather around.
What?
You you didn't have a pen protector, pocket
No, I got a pocket protector. See, I do this new fancy pen I bought.
Yeah.
Not a fountain pen, just a regular rollerball.
Oh,
It's doesn't. So it's retractable, so I forget to retract it. So that's what happens. Okay. Now we have. The guy is a suffix. A suffix. Doesn't write so well. We have Yeah, I'm sure. You have a guy. He was definitely a Nazir, right? He was definitely a Nazir, and it was a suffix whether Tameh or Tahor. Is a suffix Tameh Tahor, and he was definitely Metzora. The suffix is whether he was Muchlat or not, or determined definitely, but certified.
Oh, yeah.
Certified Metzora. Certified diagnosis by Cohen, right?
But he's not necessarily certified.
Right. Certified is what was concerned us. Okay, so now he became Tomei over here. This is our timeline. He became Tomei over here, right? Now, for 7 days, is that a good 7?
Yeah.
It's probably wrong. So it's right upside down.
European stuff.
Okay, it says for 7 days, that's the days in which he becomes Tohar, right? So here he takes his first haircut. That's his scissors, okay? He takes his first, he takes his first haircut to start. He wants to start in his ears over again, right? Okay. So 7 days later, he wants to take his Monasheva during these 7 days. He wants Temne Shiva visa v'shir shana gilach. He was on the 3rd day and the 7th day. They sprinkled water on him, right? Because they have to sprinkle paraduma water on him, right? So they did a few drops. We'll just say PA. Okay. So they did paraduma waters on him. Then, after the 7 days, he comes the Varotza Vigilech Vehevi. Then he brings his korban as a Nazir Tameh. Mono Shiva Varotza Galech. And then he counts 7 again and wants to cut his hair. 1 second. No, I'm saying Mono Shiva, he counted these 7 days, right? And wanted to cut his hair over here, right? Right? I'm still in these 7 days, right? Can't do it. Because perhaps, maybe he's a Nazir Tahor. If it's Nazir Tahor, can he count as because there's suffix whether he became a Tameh or not. So he can't just wait 7 days. These 7 days have to stretch into how many because of his suffix? 30. That's right. So it's actually 7 plus. I can't draw 2 upside down.
I'm a teacher.
7 plus 23, right? Equals 30, right? Okay, you got the idea. Okay, 7 plus 23 equals 30. So actually, these 7 days turned into 30 days, right? Now he comes to take his haircut. Now this first haircut, if he was a Nazir Torah, he could have taken after 7 days. Since he might be Nazir Torah, has to wait an additional 23 days, 30 days, right? Now this first haircut, you would like him to take a Nazir's haircut, but he can't, because he's also a Safek Mitzorah. So his first haircut is actually now going to be what kind of haircut? Mitzorah haircut. So that's what Gemara says, right? So Amrullah, they said Nazir Torah. They said you're first of all you're Nazir Torah. So say Umnei, go and count. It says there's shiva, it should be a stream v'shloisha. The Pnei Moshe changes it. You go and count 23 days. V'shlim v'shloisha make up 30. Okay, Mana Shloishim, so he counts 30. V'rotzel glech, he wants to take a haircut. Amrullah, they said. No, they say to him Nazir Torah, so you can't do it because maybe you're the Nazir Torah. Vein Nazir Torah migalech elamine domim. You have to make korbanos in order to take a haircut. What korbanos you going to bring? But you might be Nazir Torah. Tommy might be Nazir Torah. Now, last time we made a boo boo. The Pnei Moshe brings down here very nicely what the korbanos of everybody are. And I did not know this last night. If you take a look in the Pnei Moshe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines from the bottom, he has in the middle of the line the word vidin. Do you see the word vidin? Vidin Nazir Torah, the halach of Nazir Torah, sholosh behemos, he has to bring 3 animals. The Nazir Torah brings a chatos, an olah, and a shlomim.
Right.
That we knew, right?
Right.
So far so good, right? Vidin Nazir Tameh, and the Nazir Tameh has to bring, however, chatos ha'of, v'olah ha'of, v'keves la'asham. Okay? Okay, he has to bring a chatos and olah, both of them are birds.
Right.
And one asham is an animal. Did you know that?
No.
They're birds? Did you remember that?
I remember the birds.
Do you remember the birds? Okay, so I didn't remember that. Okay?
I remember it was conscious now Nasham, Nazir Torah, I think, yesterday.
Oh, yeah, thing is, another mistake as I made, I thought that the Nazir Tameh just brings an asham, but he also brings a chatos. He brings both.
Mm.
So Nazir Torah, it's chatos ola shlomim. And Nazir Tameh, it's chatos ola asham, right? Okay, so that's the difference. Chatas ola shlomim versus chatas ola asham. The Dina Mitzora, the Mud's Mitzora bring, so he also has 2 haircuts. He has to have one and then another one 7 days later. So Dina Mitzora states he brings 2 birds for his first haircut, right? And Ulachar Shiva, and then 7 days later for his second haircut, maybe Shlosh Babies brings 3 animals, a Chatos and Asham and Ola, which is the same thing as a Nazir Tameh. So he brings the first 2 birds, the first time he takes haircut, and 7 days later he brings the Chatos, Ola, and Asham. Okay? So those are all the korbanos. So again, now this guy has gone to the simplest 23 days and become 30 days, right? Now, he wants to cut his hair, right? So they say, Adoni, you must bring korbanos, right? We say, Anelo, Nazir Torah, so you say, Nazir Torah, Vein Nazir Torah, Megalechel, Mine Dami, and they bring korbanos. A raise maybe Ola, Megalechel. So at this point you bring here an Ola, right over here, besides the haircut. You also have to bring an Ola, let's call that an ayin for Ola. You bring an Ola and you shave upon it, and a chatos ha'of. Okay, the chatos oaf. Okay, this Ola can be even a behema, but the chatos is a chatos oaf. Now it seems, I don't remember this except very dimly. I have very, very big amnesia when it comes to kachim. A chatos oaf can come al safek. A chatos behema cannot. If you have a question, if you have to bring a chatos now, you could bring a chatos off, but you can't bring a chatos behema. Okay, I guess that's because the kuchatos, I'm just guessing this because I don't remember exactly why. But I guess it's because by an animal, Torah gave you an animal for a place of suffix, which is an osham toli. The Torah is telling you there's no such thing as a chatos misafik. By a bird, there's no such secondary korban, so therefore I guess there's such a thing as a chatos off misafik. I'm just guessing that. Okay, but that might be the reason. So he brings the oz beim chatas off, and he makes the time. He says, "Im tamei." You see, if I was tamei and now breaking the zirus, stopping the zirus tuma, hachatas michovasi. The chatas oaf is what I'm liable for because the nazir tamei brings the chatas oaf, right? And the olas behema is an adava. Im tar, if I'm tar, ha'ola mechavasi, the ola is my chiyuv. The chatos suffix and the chatos is questionable, right? Viola, because then if he's a Nazir Tar, he doesn't bring a chatos off, right? If a Nazir Tar doesn't bring any birds, brings just animals. So therefore the Ola Behemo would be his carbon, and the chatos off would be a chatos suffix. Now here, I guess the Mefarshim take out this line in parentheses, but I need to read it. Because later on, if I understand Gemara correctly, the Gemara in Mem Alpha Base will say it's a mistake. But the Gemara says it's a mistake. That's not up to the Mefarshim to say it's a mistake, right? So it says here, Migalech es Rosho. Let's learn that you have to do it. At this point, you must shave your head, Veskano and your beard, Veskabosinov and your eyebrows. Keder Shemitzor Migalech. Because bear in mind, you're also a Mitzorah, right? So you need to take your Mitzorah haircut, right? So according to the Gemara at this point, the haircut which you get is not the haircut of a Nazir. What haircut is it? The haircut of Mitzorah. Besides their regular haircut, you also have to get, let's do the haircut of Mitzorah with eyebrows. Okay? So it's got to do an eyebrow, not just a regular Nazir haircut, which is head and beard, but eyebrows as well. Okay? So in any event, so it says the Gemara, now how do we do l'chumra? Meaning, since he's also theoretically, if it was just a Nazir, Safik Nazir Tar or Safik Nazir Tameh, so then he could get away with 60 days, right? Because now he would do Safik Nazirus Tuma, and then he would do another 30 days, right? Which would be his next Nazirus, the Nazirus Tara, and at the end he'd take another haircut, and that would be enough, right? That would be 60 days altogether. But he's also Mitzorah, so what does he have to do? So maybe Shtei Tzipori Dror. The first thing he does is he brings 2 birds. At this point, he brings 2 birds. Now, when the Mitzorah has his first 2 birds, those 2 birds are not sacrificed. They're slaughtered. One is slaughtered, and the other one is dipped in its blood and then sent freely away. So that's what Gemara describes here, what we do the first time around. What do you do? Maybe Shtei Tzipori Dror. You bring 2 birds. One of them in an earthenware vessel on waters from a spring. Chofer, then you bury a hole, you dig a hole. The koivra, you bury koivra, and you bury that bird before in front of you. And it's provided to the right benefit, and the other bird is sent away. Begilach rosho was going to begabel seina, and you shave your hair and your beard and your eyebrows, like the Mitzoraim take a haircut. Umonim shloshim yom, we count 30 days. Umayvi olos behema acheres. So now the second time you count 30 days, you bring another olas behema. Okay, so you bring another olas behema over here. Olas behema. At this point, and this if I forget, you have to bring. Besides over here, you have to bring 2 birds. Where would I draw a bird? Let's see, that's a bird. Those are the wings. So all that you have to do the first time around, right? That's the Mitzorah, this is the Nazir part, and that's the Mitzorah part. So the second time around, you have to bring an Olos Behema again, because this Olos Behema is in lieu of, is one of the 3 of a Nazir Torah, right? Ve'olos Behema Acheres, Umasla, we say, Im Tomei, you see, if I was Tomei, initially, Hola Rishon Nedava, this one was Nedava, Olos Behema number 1. Because that was not required time to his Nazir Tomei, and this one Vizu Chova, and this is required. This is required. But Chatos in the original Chatos was also required, which came because it was Tomei. In Torah, you see, if I was Torah the first time, Holy Rishon Chova, and then this Olas Behema was mandatory. Vizu Nedava, and this Nedava was this one over here is the dava because I literally wasn't nazir the last 30 days. But chatas b'safik, and this chatas was brought as safik, and obviously was not necessary. But those are the good breaks. Mikaleach rosho is kind of a gabel seina, and again here the Gemara says you shave by an eyebrow shave, and here don't bring the 2 birds because you already brought the 2 birds, right? You need to bring a carbon for what? For your Nazir, for your Tzaras, which means, what do you bring for that? For that you bring a chat. What? No, that was the first time. That's the first haircut. No, it's chatas olo osham. The second time it's chatas olo osham. It's identical. Chatas olo to
same as the Nazir.
Nazir Tahar, right? Nazir Tami. It's identical to Nazir Tami. Right, it's identical korbanos. So he brings he has to get a second haircut again, and I guess he doesn't have to bring korbanos from Mitzorah. Why not? Why does he have to bring korbanos, Taka? I don't know why he doesn't have to bring a I don't know. I'm not sure why he doesn't. I'm not sure. Anyway, now I need to read through the Carbonata here. The Carbonata is for the fourth to last now line. He changed the gear so in the Gemara. Fourth last now in line of Carbonata, he says, the logo emo, you bring the Mitzorah together with his jug of oil, which he has to bring. You put him into the Nicanor gate. And you make a condition on him. He says, if I'm Mitzorah, Ashama Velugo emo. This animal is my Asham. And he does bring an Asham. Okay, there it is. Okay, so he has to bring all his Behemah for Nazirus, and he brings for the Mitzorah part, he brings an Asham Behemah. What? Chatas or Asham, any one of the three. Okay, but Chatas is a condition, but an Asham comes, and he brings and he says, I raised a shamo for logo imo. It means also a container of oil to put on his fingers. If it's not about Osham, Yerushalmi Nazir. I'm still reading Carbonata, the last no line. That should be the Shlomim. Now go to the first wide line. The Osham Zenishla B'Tov, this Osham is slaughtered on the north. B'Tov Mata B'Honos Usmichon, and they have to put from that blood on his thumbs and big toes. They have to smich on it, and the Sachim has to have libations, Utznufa, and the Tnufa is Chazav V'Shok, and the waving of the waving the korban, and giving the Chazav V'Shok to the Kohanim, V'nechel Zikri Kukuna, and the elders of Kuna can eat it, the males of Kuna, the Yom V'Ha'al, for a day and a night, V'lo D'lo Chacham Mechami did not concede the point in. Okay, so you say here that he does have to bring at least one carbon of Mitzorah. Carbon brings it down. So Rabbi Shimon says, getting back to the Gemara, the next day he brings the asham and the jug of oil. Umaslav, he makes a condition upon it. And he says, Im Tameo Yisi. Oh, actually, this is really. You see, if I was Tamei, Harei Chavasi, this is my requirement. If not, Harei is fakey, this is my Savi, Yeshua B'Tzofan. We really just read this Carbonata. It saws on the north, V'Tol Mata B'Honos, it's got to be put on the thumbs, V'Nechel Zichrei Kuna, that's eaten by Mel Zechani, Chol Markom, for a day and a night, Ad Chatzos, till midnight. Chami Lo Hodu Rabbi Shimon. Chami did not concede to Rabbi Shimon this point. So maybe it's a kachim lebeis hapsul. You're gonna, because the shlomi can be eaten for less time than an asham. So bring an asham out tonight and make it a shlomi, so then actually there are going to be less people to eat it. It's more likely to have to be burnt up because of nosar. So therefore, he says we prefer actually not to bring you an asham, have you bring an asham and be mas on it to make it a shlamim. Is that clear?
Shlamim is only 1 day.
Right. Asham is 2 days.
Yeah.
So we don't want you to bring Asham to turn Asham to shlamim because it's diminishing the possibility of eating it. Okay? So, says Gemara, V'oimei says, at this point he says, Im tamei ayisi, if I was tamei, hareu chavasi, this is my obligation. Im la, if not, hareu is fake, this is not my obligation, but at the same time, give me safek. V'yishchot, b'tzafon, and you slaughter this on the north, b'tol madamonis, it's got to be sprinkled on the thumbs and big toes. V'nachol zechei konek be eaten by male zakona, b'chol makom all over, liyom alei chatos for a day and a night of the chachamim, till midnight. Chachamim lo'odu Rabbi Shimon, chachamim did not concede to Rabbi Shimon. Shumei skotchen, they besul because you're shortening the time to eat them, they're going to become possible. Hey bichatas behema, eno yachol. To bring a chatas behema, you can't bring. Shein lo chatas behema chatas ov. Sharei Oshir Shehevi Carbon Ani, if a poor rich person bought a poor person's carbon lo yatsa, it's not Yetzis Chiv, so therefore they can't bring each other's carbonos. So Ketzad Yasa, how does it work? To make yourself impoverished, that you should be able to bring lower level carbonos. Ketzad Yasa Yichtom Nechosav La'acher, he should bring right over his property over to somebody else. So he no longer owns any property, at least on paper, and where am I lost my place. You can't. I'm sorry. I don't remember where I was. I just totally blanked out. Sorry. Maybe I fell asleep. I'm not sure. I'm not that tired, so I don't know. To bring a chatas beima, you can't bring it. It's about sharei ein lo chatas shein lo chatas beima. There is no chatas behema in this case of a. Why is there no chatas behema here? Oh, because maybe it's not a mitzorah. Why can't it be because it's a Nazir? Because it doesn't come out suffix. I'm not sure what the Gemara doesn't just say. You can't be a chatas beim because chatas beim doesn't come of suffix. Chatas of any yochel, you can't be a chatas of because we're assuming you're talking about a rich guy. Shrei osher shehevi carbon ani lo yotza, and there's a osher means a carbon of an ani. It's not yotze, so you can't get Medicare if you're too rich, right? So you can't bring carbonos of an ani if you're too rich. So how do you get off Medicaid? So how do you get off Medicaid? How do you get on Medicaid?
Give away all your
right, that's exactly what it says here. Writes all of his property to somebody else. V'yavi carbonani could bring in carbonani. Nim to usher maybe chatasov. So that way a rich person can bring chatasov. Umastolov, and he brings and he makes a t'nai on it. So this chatasov, does the mitzvah actually bring chatasov? Right, I skipped that part of Rashi. Dumb me. I'm going to say that part of the Pnei Moshe for. If the guy is poor, he taka brings kevis l'osham, the chatas of for olas of. By a mitzorah who's poor, he actually brings a different carbon. So at this point, he has to bring the osham. According to Rabbi Shimon, he brings the osham. This is Rabbi Shimon Shita. This is Rabbi Shimon Shita that brings the osham behema. Rabbi Shimon says he brings an osham behema because it just becomes a shlomit. But Rabbanah, you can't bring an osham behema because it shortens the eating period. So therefore, what does he have to bring instead? He brings the chatas off. But the thing is, he might not be eligible for chatas off because in order to bring chatas off, you have to be poor. So how do you bring chatas off? You have to right away all of your property somebody else into a shelter, and that way you can bring a chatas off according to Rabbanon. Okay?
Now, chatas of, is that burned completely? That's not eaten.
No, it's eaten by the Kohanim.
So if he's a suffix,
They don't eat it, right?
because it's malika.
Might be a
it's
chulim
not-
bazar. That's right. Exactly. In a chanami. Nimtza Osher maybe chatzov, so it comes out an Osher, rich guys may bring chatzov. Umatzal and make a dish. Remember, it says, "Ain't me." You see, if I was tamei, I raise a chavasi, then this I had to bring anyway. And if not, I raise a safik, so it's brought on a safik. Now, after these 60 days, he can eat kachim immediately, because no matter what, his taras is ended. Either it was not a mitzvah at all, or he was a mitzvah, began becoming Torah then, and ended becoming Torah then, right? He began his Torah process after the 30 days, and then he be completed after the 60th day. But so man, now, once he's no longer mitzvah, he can enter the Beis HaMikdash, right? And where am I? Yeah, Ola b'kachim miyad. You can eat kachim after the 30 days. Lishtos yayin l'tari mesim, but to go drink wine and be matami to mesim ain't a yochel. He can't yet do. Why is that? Because maybe he's still a nazir, right? So Shein Nazir also Ola mitoch tzarato. Why is a mitzvah he can't count nazirus? So Keteros, what do you do for him? K'divrei ben Zoma, like Ben Zoma. Ben Zoma holds the nazir can split up his karbanos. That Mirin karbanos half and half. So I can tell me to do the following: I raise him on a shloshim. We count another 30 days. Okay, you count another 30. So we're up now to 90, right? We have 30, 60, 90. So you count another 30. Now, the reason I count another 30 now is because the first two times might have just been Matorah times. So they might have counted for Nazirus as well. So you count another 30 days, and maybe that'll be, and there's the first possibility of Nazirus. So, I raise the money Shloshim Yom, and then you get a haircut again. But only a Nazir haircut, not a Matorah haircut, because you're finished with the Matorah, right? So you don't get the Matorah haircut. What? No eyebrows. I raise the money Shloshim Yom, maybe Olas Behema. What do you bring then? You bring an Olas Behema. Just an Olas Behema. And you do a tiklachas on it. And you bring, not just, also chatas off. You bring a chatas off, and you do on it, you do a t'nai, you do the condition. Masa service, im tamei, you see, if I was tamei, chatas and mechabosi, I'm liable for the chatas. Vol nedav, the O is optional. In Torah, you see, if I'm a Torah, then Ola Michavasi, the Ola is required. The Chatasi and the Chatas doesn't mean no good, it's a Safei, no, it's basically no good. Then, so that might have taken care of your Nazirus Tuma. Then, then you become another 30 days. Another 30 days. At the end of those 30 days, then you're for sure out of it, right? So then you take your final haircut. This is as a Nazir Torah, right? So you said, Brahman says in Tomei, you see, if I was Tomei, Chatas I brought 30 days ago was required. But the Ola was the Torah. In Torah, you see, if I was Torah, and the Ola was required, but Chatas, the Chatas was questionable. Maybe Kodos of Shloim, then he cancels 30 days, which are just mentioned, and he brings his korbanos in his totality, whatever korbanos he has left. So he only brought so far, let's say if it's another Torah, all he brought so far, what he has to bring is the Ola. All he brought so far is the Ola.
Yeah, I meant the shlomim.
So now, so then he has to bring now the shlomim, and he has to also bring the chatos. A regular chatos behema, right? Thank you. It's bring shlomim and chatos behema, right? So it brings the balance of them. Masalaim, it says, if I was Tamei, Ol Rishon and Nadava, then the first Ol is Nadava, because it was the Chatos, which corresponded to that, the Zulchova. This is my mandatory one. If I was Tor, Ol Rishon and Chova, then the Ol which I brought back then, it was the mandatory one, corresponding to my obligation to bring. Vizu Nadava, this one, the Nadava. Chatos and the Chatos, which I brought back then 30 days ago, that's a Safek. And then he takes his haircut. Shaisi Yain and Tam Mason, you can go drink wine and go to Levias, but immediately after 120 days are up. Okay? So basically, I don't know if my chart made any clearer to you, but it certainly made it clearer to me. The first two times it's still trying to get rid of Mitzorah. Theoretically, you could do it after 7 days each segment, but in practice, you can't. Because if it's a Nazir, Nazir Torah, no segment may be less than 30 days. And each segment is a possibility of Nazir Torah. On the other hand, since each segment is also a possibility that it's not a Mitzorah at all, so then theoretically, at this point, at least the more holds, even the first two, he's got to keep the Chumras of Nazirus, which are 30 days and not just 7 days. Okay? So it's 30, 30, 30, 30. The first two take off the tzaras. The next two take off the other. Take off the Nazir. Okay. Says the Gemara. It's the next line should be Bamedvar. When went to Chubas Manchin Nazar, we took the Nazirs. It should be of Lamed, of 30 days. Avo Nazir you'd base Chodesh. We would take with Nazir for 12 months. Picking on the third line. Then he eats kachim only achar shtei shanim, only after 2 years, because everything gets doubled, right? Because if Nazirus is a Nazirus of 12 months, so you have to double that. If it's 30 days, Nazirus is 30 days, it's actually quadruple that, right? You quadruple it because of the factor of the tzaras, so therefore it becomes from 30 days, 4 months. So if it's 12 months, so it becomes, when you quadruple it, 4 years. Okay, so that's what Gemara says. It becomes 4 years. On Rabbi Yochanan said, "Zudivrei ben Zoyma." Ben Zoyma, you can split the korbanos. Avol Chachamim say, "Lo elamu v'chaluto." No, you never come out of your nazirus. You always consider to be a muchlot. This is talking about the mitzorah. He is still considered to be a muchlot until he waves the asham. Okay, literally it means to wave, but illiterally it means just until he brings the proper asham. Rabbi Yirmiyah asked if that's a sheyani for asham. Now, the way the Chomrei explains it, actually, it means that one second. Rabbi Shiyani Ha'ashan. But what that means is Shiyani Ha'ashan. Oh, Shiyani Ha'ashan be able to chaluto. Takish have to wait to bring the asham until he gets out of being mitzorah. Only as he said, not necessarily. Lama lama tira kam komas. Why haven't we found several places? Dochim ibn Ashamas dochim ne'asfei, because they bring asham despite the fact that there's a safek involved. The Tzniyatam we learned over there, because by mitzorah obviously we don't know if he's a mitzorah or not, but nevertheless they're bringing the asham on doubt. The Tzniyatam we learned over there, Isha shisar asham. If you have an asham mixed in shlomim, the animals got mixed in, can't tell the difference. Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shimon Omer Shneim Yishul tu Patzov, and they both are slaughtered in the north. And they're eaten like the more severe than, which is asham, which only gets 1 day, right? Armala, they said no good. Kachim based on psul. You can't diminish the amount of time you can eat because you can't make kachim become possible. Rabbi Yaakov. The Rumia boy kumi Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yaakov the Rumia asked from Rabbi Yossi, "V'yasu lo takana liyeno." Let them make a takana for the Nazir's wine. and what's the takora that they should make, that even though even though he's stuck as a mitzora, let him be able to break his nazirus, right? What we're saying is that a mitzora muchlar cannot break, according to Chacham, mitzora muchlar cannot break his saras open unless he brings an osham. So this, and the truth is he can't bring an osham because the osham doesn't come out safek, so he's stuck. He can never get out being a mitzora. B'shayas can he get out being a nazir? Okay, that's really the question. If he's stuck as a mitzora, can he ever get out being a nazir? So it says the Gemara, he can't. He says, "V'gilach nazir pesach l'moed." In order to become go out of being a nazir, you have to be able to take a haircut at the opening of a home. But nevertheless, he has to be suitable. Like call roy labila, he has to be suitable to cut the base of mikdash. Yotazesh ain't a roy labila. So you can't. Suppose something you can't come to a moed. So you know what that means, Rabbi? It means according to Chachamim, this whole case in our mission doesn't work. Because according to Chachamim, you can't get out of tzaras until you bring an osham, right? You must have over here that osham of Rabbi Shimon, right? And Rabbanan don't hold of that osham. Rabbanan hold you can't bring an osham al sofik. So therefore, if you can't bring an osham al sofik, how are you ever going to get out of being mitzora? It's like nazir. By nazir being one of the korbanos, you're okay. By mitzora, you need to bring dafka the osham. You know why I have to bring dafka the osham? Because the blood from the osham is what's placed on your fingertips and on your toes, right? So if you don't have it, it doesn't work. So a sorrow mouth. Now the question is, however, what's with the according to the opinion which holds you can do this process of Mishnah? What do you do with the hair of the nazir / mitzora? So Rabbi Yaakov Barach said he's found Yochanan Shim Melosh Machlokas. Yochanan Mar Sorrow Usher. Rabbi Yochanan said the hair is forbidden with Baranoah like any other hair of a nazir. Whereas Rabbi Shimon Losh Mar Sorrow Muta, the hair is permitted. Rabbi Zira asked, what are they talking about in their Machlokas? So they argue by a person who started out being a Mitzorah and then became a Nazir. There's a Machlokas. Does Nazirus come, that Kedusha come and make the hair have to burn? Or we're talking about Nazir should start replicating. We're talking about Nazir who got Taras, which is less of an assumption that it's Ser Shmi Tamei, because after all, he started out as Nazir's Patara, only later on did he become Tamei. So which one is it? So it says, Mara, if they're going to argue about a Mitzorah who became a Nazir, Hub and Nazir Shnitz Tareya, then we would have to say by Nazir who got Saras, Divra Kolu Aser. Everybody agreed that he's that it's Aser, that the hair is Aser Bahanoah. In other words, if you're going to say Rabbi Yochanan Reshim Melokish argue at a Mitzorah who took upon himself being a Mitzorah, who took upon himself Nazirus, right? It's very easy. I'm just getting confused by looking at the terms inside. The machlokas here whether Mitzorah who is a Nazir, his hair is holy or not. Obviously, it's based on the clash between Saras and Nazirus, right? So there are two ways to look at the clash, which is one that's obviously the more severe case is where the Saras preceded the Nazirus. The other case was the Nazirus preceded the Saras. Which is the case in which Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish argue? If they argue in the case where the Nazirus preceded the Tzaras, and even there Reish Lakish says that the hair is not Kadosh, even though there was a time in which you were Nazir before you were Mitzorah, so certainly he's going to say that if you were Nazir and then a Mitzorah afterwards, that if you're Mitzorah and then a Nazir afterwards, then for sure the hair is not Kadosh, because from the get-go, the hair grew under, so to speak, adverse conditions, right? But if you're going to say that by a case where a Nazir who then became Mitzorah, is the Machlokes, right? Right? Then you're going to say that that's the Machlokes, and for sure you're going to say where the Nazir is preceded by the Mitzorah. I don't know if I even said it right outside.
How could you be a Mitzorah and then become a Nazir?
You took it by yourself. You're not Moritz.
It doesn't count. Is it how?
What?
Does it actually kick in?
It's a suspended animation. The netter is a valid netter, but it doesn't kick in until later on.
It doesn't kick in until he's Mitzorah.
Right. So that's the question. What about the hair? So the Pashas is, you're right. Pashas said they wouldn't argue about that. Then that is hair when it becomes punished. Right, and then the hair Machlokas only be about a case where it was a Nazir first. Right, but then that's one side the Gemara is proposing here. The other side is here to say that they argue about a case where he became a Nazir first and then Mitzorah, but they all agree in a case where he became a Mitzorah first and then a Nazir that their hair can be just discarded. All right, so that's the two sides of the Chakira here, of the inquiry. So, either Mitzorah should Nazar pleading because the Machlos by Mitzorah became a Nazir, so then a Nazir should serve a Nazir would start out. Mitzorah became Nazir. The Machlokas that is Nazir should serve. He was initially Nazir, then he got Tzaras. Divrei and everybody here agree that the hair is also in that case because it was a Nazir first. In Tamer, but Nazir should serve pleading. You're going to say the Machlos by Nazir became Mitzorah. Mitzorah should Nazar. Then we have to say that if there's a machlokas even over there, then a Mitzorah who became a Nazira, everybody would agree that there it's permissible. Okay? So, Rabbi Yirmiyah Pshitale, Rabbi Yirmiyah was pasha to him that Mitzorah should Nazar pleaded. Machlokas only by a person who was a Mitzorah and then became a Nazir. Ha ben Nazir shnitzareh, but he was already a Nazir. And then got Tzaras afterwards. Everybody agrees that Isser Tiglachas Mitzvah. Everybody agrees that the hair is forbidden in Hanoah. Okay, period. Tiglachas Mitzvah. Mausha Tiglachas Rishus. Does the Tzaras haircut push off the Nazir haircut? So Yishmin Adah, let's hear from the case of Rav. It says in Rav, Megalech Rosho, the Nazir the first time around, shaves Rosho, his head, Uzkano and his beard, the Gabel Seinav, and his eyebrows, Kidershim Mitzoroim and Megachim, like a normal Mitzorah does. So how come they allow this? V'chash lomar Shema Tiglachas Mitzvahi. It must be, it's actually a statement. V'chashash lomar, he came up with the conclusion to say that Shema Tiglachas Mitzvahis. Maybe the tiglachas of a mitzvah precedes the tiglachas of the Nazir. Which the truth doesn't make sense. In other words, in our case over here, which is the case we're discussing, the more important haircut over here is the Mitzorah haircut, because you want to get Mitzorah off of your front end. Right, so then this haircut of Mitzorah should take precedent over anything else that's going to take on subsequently. Okay? Says the Gemara, Rabbi Zira b'Shem, Rabbi Yehuda said, Masnisa Omra Kain. That we have a Bryce which says like this. Rabbi Shimon, it says Rabbi Shimon holds, once one of the bloods has been sprinkled for a Nazir, Hutar Nazir Shtosiyain, the Nazir permitted to drink wine, Ulitari Mesim, and to become Tameh. Ve'eno Osir, it's not Osir, even Mishum, it says here Ella, but the Karmei takes the word Ella. Eno Osir Mishum Baal Tashchis. It's not forbidden because of Baal Tashchis to do all these things. Why should you Baal Tashchis? I forgot. Oh, I made the same mistake when I was preparing. Venos is the end, period. Okay, that's the end of the previous statement. So once the blood has been sprinkled, any blood, the nose is allowed to drink wine and go be a Talmesim, unlike the Mitzvah needs his Oshan. Now, the Gemara starts up again. Veno Osir Mishum Baal Tashchis. How can, the first time around, how can they get a full body haircut or a full head haircut? What happened to Baal Tashchis? Baal Tashchis Pias Konecha. What are you doing if you cut off all your hair? You cut and making yourself a round head.
Right.
And that's awesome.
Oh, right.
So if it's only a Safik Mukhlat, how can you possibly take a full head haircut?
Because maybe he is.
Yeah, but it's a lav. So a Safik I say in a definite lav. How can you transgress that?
I was under the impression that if you cut off all your hair, there isn't that issue.
You know,
only if you leave.
Where did you get the impression from?
I don't know.
You got it from the Yerushalmi here.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's coming out. Okay? So that's Gemara's answer. That there's no Baal Tashchis over here. Or more initially understands that it's Baal Tashchis. Now the truth is I have a sneaking problem. My sneaking problem is that by Nazir, why is there not also Baal Tashchis? Even if you gave him a Nazir haircut, why is it not Baal Tashchis? So I was thinking, but maybe by Nazir they only shave the head. Maybe they don't do all the sideburns. They leave the payas. Doesn't sound right?
Doesn't.
Yeah, but it's only asking here about Mitzorah. That's what I was asking about. Right?
Some Hasidim do that.
Yeah, but they're not Nazir. Yeah, so that's it. Right, but they do that, yes. So in any event, so says tomorrow, Rav Shmuel Bar Abba Tipata B'Sris. We're talking about Mitzorah who's a eunuch, but he has no hair, or he has no beard. He has no hair. But here we learn Zakon. He's got a beard. Islach Meimer Sris. We're going to say he has a Sris. He has a beard. Srisim don't have beards. Leislach Elo. So how come it's mutter? So one of two reasons. Leislach Elo Kedam Rabbi Yaakov B'Shem Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yaakov said Rabbi Yochanan Notam Milamatul L'Man Oser. If you shave like this down the sides of your head, it's Oser. If you shave like this, Milamatul L'Malon, that's okay. Okay. Another Milamatul no, the other way around. The other way around. The other. If you shave like this, it's Oser. Yeah, that's what I just said. If you shave like this, it's Oser. If you shave like that, it's Mutter.
Oh.
I said the opposite before?
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Okay.
Now I'm right. If you shave like this, it's Oser. If you shave like this, it's Mutter. Okay, which makes sense, because the normal way is to go up. Right? So to go the other way is that's the shinui. That's one interpretation. Amar Yisrael Rabbi Yisrael said, "Amar lo shani hilam matan l'malo bein l'malo matan tame." No matter bein l'matan matan makes no difference. You're still usher. However, here they say it's going like the Bavli and Nazir, which you were quoting before, that since doing the whole head, it's not a problem. Okay, it's only a problem about Tashus when you do part of the head. But it's the whole head, it's not a problem. So Kojak was a law-abiding Jew. Okay? It says more further. The Tameh, now here there's a problem in the Girsa. So let's look at the Korban Eidah. So to almost the end of the parak, and not all the Korban Eidah in the parak, but just to see the Girsa over here. In the fourth line down in the narrow lines. Tameh b'safek umuchla b'vadai. You see that? Hachi Garsina Tameh b'safek umuchla b'vadai. He's definitely a Nazir Tameh. Right? I'm sorry. His Nazir's tumah is questionable. Umuchla b'vadai, but he certainly was a Mitzorah. So Ochel b'kachim l'achar shmona yomim. So he can eat kachim after 8 days. B'shoyse yain, he can drink wine and mitami l'meisim and be mitami for dead bodies. L'achar shishim shmona yomim, after 68 days. Why is that? Because if a definite mitzvah always takes precedence over Nazir. So therefore, he can't become a Nazir until he gets rid of his tzaras. So therefore, first he counts 8 days, which are the 8 days of Tumatara from tzaras, and then he counts the 60 days for Nazirus. The first suffix whether he's a Nazir Tameh or Nazir Tar. So he counts first 30 days, maybe he's a Nazir Tameh, another 30 days Nazir Tar, so it's 90 days altogether. Okay? Yeah, 68 days altogether. 8 at the beginning, then another 60, right? And Achel B'Kachim, you can eat Kachim L'achar Shiva Shloshim Yom, you Kachim after the 37th day, right? Because then you're ready for sure, then you are out of both Tzaras and out of Nazirus Tumah. I need 37 days. 7 days should be enough. I need 37. No, he says you're allowed to after 7 days. Oil kachim achar shiva, after 7 days. There's something missing the carbonator here. Oh, because I goofed. Okay, let's look again. I put the punctuation wrong place. Time of something move about it. Oh, because he caught you after 8 days. And he can drink wine and be after 68 days. That's straightforward. After the 8 days at the beginning, he already out of the Mitzorah issue, and then 60 days after that, he's out of the Nazirus issue. Okay, new case. Tameh Vadai. He's definitely a Nazir Tameh. There's no question about that. Umuchla B'Safi, but we're not sure if he's a Mitzorah or not. Now he's in bigger trouble, right? Because not sure if he's a Mitzorah, but he's got to keep his Torahs first if he is a Mitzorah, right? So what do we do with him? So Ocha B'Kachim L'achar Shiva Shloshim Yom. He can eat Kachim after 37 days, and Shois Yam Tam Mesim L'achar Ayin Dal Yom. He can go. That means he finishes with Tzaras after 37 days. He finishes with Nazirus after Lachar Ayin Dal Yom. Right? Lachar Dal Yom. Why is that? Let's figure it out. It's very simple, I think. You have a gut. No, let me see if I can do it outside. The guy is definitely Nazir Tommy. We're sure Nazir Tommy. We're not sure if he had Tzaras. Okay? Okay. So for what does he do first? So he has the Nazirus Tumah, right? He for sure has to keep 7 days in which he gets out of his Tumah. So his Tumah's mace, right? So that after that, so then during those 7 days, in the meantime, he can do also the 7 days to patter up his Tzaras, right? Because he's a Mitzorah, perhaps he's a Mitzorah. He was a Mitzorah Muchlot, right? If he's a Mitzorah Muchlot, so then he can take his first haircut now, and his second haircut 7 days from now, and then no, he can't do that. Why can't he do that? No, the Kormei says his first haircut has got to be after the 7 days. Why does that be after the 7 days? Why does it be after the 7 days? Tame Vadai. Let's see how that works. He's Tame Vadai. It's Tame Vadai Mucha B'Safek Ochel B'Kochim Achar Shiva V'Shloshim Yom. Tame Vadai.
So the 7 days is he gets out of his tumor, and then the 30 days he's a Nazir. So at the end of 37 days.
Okay, but why can't he take his first haircut right now? His first Mitzorah haircut right now.
When does he become a Mitzorah?
Right now he should be able to take his first Nazir. Oh yeah, I see. Obviously, for some reason, because the whole time we've been learning that. For some reason, he can't take his first Saras haircut the moment he comes Tomei. Tumas Mace. I'm not sure why not. The whole Gemara is assuming that his first haircut he takes. So it must be that a Nazir Tomei, that must be it. It must be a Nazir Tomei has to wait 7 days in order to take his haircut. That's the pshat. The Nazir Tomei can't just go say, somebody died in the room, somebody had a heart attack next to him. He says, whoops, I just became tummy, let me go get a haircut. He can't do that, he's got to wait 7 days to take his haircut.
Oh, this is become
What? Yes, he can only take his haircut once he becomes Tahar. Because he starts as Nazir from scratch from the time he takes his haircut. So that's why, see, the whole time we're assuming there are no haircuts allowed the moment he comes tummy. X marking the spot when he becomes tummy. He can only take his first haircut 7 days later, after he becomes tahor. So that's why everything falls into place. If he's a Nazir, he's a Nazir tummy for sure. We're not sure he was a Mitzorah. So how does it work? So the first 7 days he doesn't do anything, right? He has to wait 7 days to become tahor, right? Then he takes his first haircut, which is a suffix whether it's saras or nazirus, right? Right? Then he goes, let's say 30 days later, he takes his next haircut, which is again a suffix saras or nazirus, right? And then he still has to wait then he has to take another 7 days, right? To, not another 30 days, but another 7 days to take his first haircut as a Nazir Tameh, right? Because maybe he's still in because he definitely was a Nazir Tameh. The whole reason you have to wait here 30 days, in this case of first case of Gemara, is because he might have been a Nazir Tar. And Nazir Tar can never take a haircut in less than 30 days. But the case we're talking about here is where he's definitely a Nazir Tameh. So therefore this time he's only going to have to wait 7, not 30, right? So there would be 7, 30, 7, 30, as opposed to having 30, 30, 30 after the 7. Here he'd have to only the 7, 30, supposed to having 30, 30, 30, 30, be 7, as opposed to here being 30, 30. I have 4 30s, right? I only wrote 33 times, so it's 4 30s. Supposed to here being 30, 30, 30, 30. It'd only be 30. It would be 7, 30, 7, 30. Is that clear? I made it clear at all?
The reason for the second 7 is because of the Mitzorah.
Because if these 2 haircuts were Mitzorah haircuts, then he still needs a Nazir haircut. A Nazir Tameh haircut.
Right. I thought the first haircut was Nazir Tameh.
No, because Saras haircuts always precede Nazir haircuts.
Is it something?
Something Saras?
Yeah, that's why that's caused the problem. Right, because if on the side it's Saras, those have to be at the front end. So actually the worst possible scenario is if he is a suffix on both. Because he doesn't know if he became a Mitzvah or not, he doesn't know if he became a Nazir or not, Nazir Tomei or not. So that he's always going to have to wait 30 days. There are no shortcuts, right? So it's going to be 4 30-day periods. He can never take any shortcuts, because each time he's not sure, maybe I'm a Nazir Torah. And Nazir Torah can't take haircuts less than 30 days. But if you know he's for sure a Nazir Tomei, then there are 2 7-day shortcuts. What are the 2 7-day shortcuts? At the beginning, there's a 7-day shortcut. The beginning is a 7-day shortcut, and then after the second 7-day shortcut is when a Nazir Tomei starts over again. Then you have to keep 30 days, because this might have been your Tara, but it might not have been, because it might be a Mitzorah. So then you're going to have to keep afterwards another 7 days and another 30 days. Is that clear? Not clear yet, right? So it's just arithmetic. But it makes sense, actually. Trust me on this one. Let me try one more time. A Nazir Tomei only has to wait 7 days, right? Nazir Torah's got to wait 30 days, right? A Mitzorah always only has to wait 7 days. But sometimes the Mitzorah is going to have to wait longer because it clashes with the Nazir Torah issue, right? Also, the other variable is Tzaras always has to be front-ended, right? Even the Tzaras is a suffix Tzaras. That's got to be taken care of before you can start counting the zeros, right? So therefore, in this case over here, if you're a suffix on everything, so each time you're waiting, you have to wait 30 days. Because you might be Nazir Torah, so that automatically renders all shortcuts no. But if you can dovetail some Nazir Tomei periods with Tzaras periods, then those periods are automatically shortened to 7 days, right? So here, if the guy is in, do we need 2 identical periods? Why are they so symmetrical? Because one of them, they're both really Nazir Tomei, Nazir Torah, just that one of them might be superseded by being Mitzorah, but might not have been superseded by being Mitzorah, the initial one. So therefore, a Nazir Tomei, Nazir Torah sequence is 37 days, right? Because first 7 days of growing hair, first 7 days, there's haircut, then 30 days. So then, so in this case, you have 2 identical Nazir Tomei, Nazir Torah sequences, 730, 730. This that the first one might have been preempted by the Tzaras. So therefore, that's why you need the second one. Okay? So the Lamaisa, after the first 37 days, you're for sure free of Tzaras. You can go eat kachim, right? But you're still not necessarily free of the problem of Nazirus. You might be, but you might not be, and therefore you can't drink wine for another 37 days. Okay? That's the next case. The one more case here brings down the Carbonado. Tamei Vadei. You're for sure Nazir Tamei, Umuchla Vadei, and for sure Muchla Vadei. So we've gone from being suffix on both, to being suffix on one, and now we're on Vadei on both. So that's very easy. Life is beautiful. Right? You can eat kachim after 8 days, right? Because after 8 days, you're definitely out of your Nazirus Tumah, and you're definitely out of your Tzaras, right? Then you take your haircut after no, you're not out of your Tzaras, Nazirus yet. You're definitely out of your Tzaras, not of your Nazirus. Because if you're definitely Mitzorah, so then you take your haircut, your first haircut, when do you take? Here. A Nazir Tamei has got to wait 7 days for taking a haircut, yes. But if you're definitely a Mitzorah, so this gets bumped, right? Then you bump your Nazirus Tumah haircut to here. And first you take first you take a Mitzorah haircut, first one here, second one here, which also dovetails with your Nazirus Tumah haircut, right? Then you go on to count Nazirus Tumah, and then then you go on to count Nazirus Tara. So that's what he says here. No, actually, a little bit off. You're mutter b'kachim after 8 days, and you can drink wine and be matam mesim after 44 days. Why is that? Because you need, it's really 7, 7, and 30, right? Because the first 7 is Mitzorah, right? The 2 haircuts of Mitzorah. Those get, but then you take, because from here to here is Mitzorah, right? That's 7 or 8 days. Then you have another 7 days of Nazirus Tumah, and another 30 days of Nazirus Tahara. Okay, that's where you're body, because that we finally have a case where you're definitely Mitzorah, where you can take a haircut on the first day, immediately when you become Tameh. Because that's what I was getting mixed up before. By Nazir Tameh, you must wait 7 days before you can take a haircut, right? But if you're Mitzorah Vadai, then that bumps the Nazirus too much to further down the line. So if you could take your first haircut immediately today, start the Mitzorah Tara process immediately, go 7 days, and then afterwards finish with the Mitzorah process, start the Nazir Tumah process. Go another 7 days, finish the Nazir Tumah process, then go the 30 days of Nazirus Tara. Okay? So basically those are all the variables. As I apologize because, as you know, I don't do very good in arithmetic. So it says the Gemara, going back to the end of the Gemara here, Amar Rabbi Abba Mori, that was all the proper girsa in the Gemara until the second to last line of the parak. Amar Rabbi Abba Mori, Achui Rabbi Yossi. So Samaris, this teaches us Shatar Soser Benazir, that that even after you take your Mitzorah haircut, right, Benazir Tameh Ushiva, that once you took your Mitzorah haircut, the first time, the second Mitzorah haircut, you have to wait another 7 days to take your Nazir Tameh haircut. We explained it earlier in the Masechta because you have to have hair to take a haircut, right? So therefore, the Mitzorah haircut doesn't count for Nazir Tameh haircut. So therefore, you have to go. So you could take when you're definitely in Mitzorah Mukla, take one haircut, wait 7 days, take another haircut, then you start waiting another 7 days and take your Nazir Tameh haircut. Okay, let's just get Tameh basic. We can say we did 2 blocks. This is much easier in the next parak. At least be in the next parak. Hakum Elam Nazir, so Goy can't become a Nazir. Nashim Avadim Yeshim Nazir, so Goy can't, but a woman or a slave can. Chayim Nashim Avadim, an interesting thing. Women are more than Avadim. Shu Koyfiv is Abdus, your Evet takes a neder to be a Nazir, you compel him to drink wine. You say, I can't tolerate the Avadim who are not alcoholics. So therefore you must make him, you can make him drink wine. Even a Koyfiv issue, you can't compel your wife to break her Nazirus. Not allowed to. Chayim Avadim Nashim, there's this very by Avadim, then by just that. No, Chayim Avadim Nashim is very by Avadim over Nashim. Shumeven Nijrishto, if your wife takes a neder to be a Nazir, you say, that's nice, dear, I annul it. You can't be made for your Evid's nether. What's nafkamina? You can make her ever drink wine anyway, right? So he says nafkamina is the following: hey for lishta, once you nullify your wife's nether, hey for lalamis, even if you divorce her, she doesn't have to keep her nazirus. Hey for lavdo, if you nullify your Evid's nether, since that's meaningless, yotzel lecherus, once he goes out to free, if he ever goes out free, it should be mashlim as nazirus, so he has to complete his nazirus. With it's only a delay, not a nullification. What if the evidence is not in front of his master? Okay, can he drink wine still? So he should not drink wine because he's only when his master compels him to drink wine, may he drink wine, but not if he's gone away. Rabbi Yossi says, Yishteh, he can drink wine because once the master compels him, as long as he's still a slave, he can drink wine. B'nai Yisrael nojim b'nozir, B'nai Yisrael can make themselves nazirim. Vein akum nojim b'nozir, but not goyim. How do we know that? Kamad Adama, like it says, Ish. It says man. Matam Lomer Ish. When it says man, that's so about making korbanos. That means Lohavi Akum comes because it says a goy. Shenoidim Nedava Nojim Nedarim Nedavas Kisro. They can bring all sorts of korbanos, not all sorts, olos, like Yisro. And more Avhacha Kain. So let's say the same thing by Nazirus? No. Shani Hidir Tzivin Dechsiv. V'kipero love, it says when he becomes ois nazir, you give him kapora. As sheyesh the kapora, it's going to be somebody who has shayt the kapora. Yotzu akum she'en lem kapora. A goy has no kapora. Now it doesn't mean he doesn't have atonement for his sins, but he has no chatos. So since he has no chatas, he can't become a nazir. We'll stop here for this evening.